It was Christmas Eve, and I was finally on my way home after a long, exhausting day. The road stretched out in front of me, dark and empty. Just me, my car, and my thoughts. It should have been peaceful, but for some reason, it wasn't. My stereo started crackling, which was weird. It had been working fine all day. I fiddled with the dials, but it only got worse. Then, as I glanced up, I noticed something, a graveyard ahead. The crackling got louder, almost like a bad omen. And then I saw him, a man stepping out of the graveyard, waving for a lift. For a moment, I thought about driving past. I mean, it was late, it was dark, and I didn't know him. But then I remembered how, a few years ago, I'd been stranded, and a stranger gave me a lift. That act of kindness had saved me. Maybe this was my turn. I slowed down, rolled down the window, and asked, "Need a lift?" The guy smiled and said, "Yeah, thanks. I'm Sam." Sam got in, and we started talking. He seemed normal enough at first. We chatted about small things, weather, traffic, how quiet the road was. But then I asked, "What were you doing in the graveyard this late?" He smiled, almost like he was amused. "I was there since morning, just thought it was time to head out." That caught me off guard. Who spends an entire day in a graveyard? I chuckled awkwardly, trying not to sound rude. "That's a long visit." He just shrugged. Time flies when you're reminiscing. Something about the way he said it gave me chills, but I brushed it off. People are quirky. Then the radio started playing My Heart Will Go On. Sam smiled. "This song. My wife and I used to dance to it all the time." I nodded, trying to make conversation. "Used to?" His smile faltered. "Yeah, death did us apart." That hit me like a punch to the gut. "I'm sorry for your loss," I said, genuinely feeling bad. But then he laughed, a weird, hollow laugh, and said, "Why are you sorry? I didn't kill her. She's perfectly alive." "What?" I didn't know what to say. "But, you just said death did you apart." He turned to me, his expression serious now. "Yeah, because I'm dead." I gripped the steering wheel tighter, forcing a laugh. "Okay, enough with the jokes, Sam." He leaned back, smirking. "You don't believe me? I'm really a ghost." I rolled my eyes. "Sure you are. Prove it." "What do you want me to do?" he asked, sounding amused. "Disappear," I said. "If you're a ghost, you can go invisible, right?" He shook his head, almost pityingly. "That's just stuff people make up. Ghosts can't go invisible. That's not how it works." "Convenient," I muttered. Sam looked at me and asked, "Have you ever thought about how people die?" That question caught me off guard. Not really." "Why?" He leaned back in his seat, his gaze distant. "I think about it a lot. How some people die peacefully, and others, not so much." "Okay," I said, feeling the unease grow. "What about you? How did you die?" Sam smiled, a cold, unsettling smile. "I was doing exactly what you're doing. I gave someone a lift late at night. Turned out, that stranger wasn't so kind." My grip tightened on the steering wheel. "What do you mean?" "He killed me," Sam said matter-of-factly. "Right here on this highway." I glanced at him, half expecting him to laugh and say he was joking. But he didn't. "And now," he continued, "I kill anyone who gives me a lift. Fair's fair, right?" To prove he wasn't messing around, Sam held out his hand. "Shake my hand, Nick." I didn't want to, but I did. And that's when it happened. My hand was wet. Not with sweat, but with blood. "What the hell?" I shouted, pulling my hand away. "What kind of sick joke is this?" Sam just stared at me, his eyes almost glowing in the dim light. "I told you. I'm dead." I slammed the brakes and got out of the car. "Get out. Now." Sam didn't move. He just laughed. "Relax, Nick. It's a prank. My crew is right behind us. That stopped me in my tracks. What? Yeah, he said, stepping out of the car. We've been pulling this on people for months. You're the first one who didn't get scared. Why is that? I didn't answer right away. I just stared at him, then smiled. Because I knew you weren't a ghost. He tilted his head, curious. How? I leaned in close and whispered, because I am. Before he could react, I vanished right in front of him. After a few minutes his crew found his dead body on the highway. A heart attack, they said. Guess he learned the hard way, never mess with ghosts. And for the record, yeah, we can go invisible.